Hello BookTube, my name is Adrian and today we're going to be talking about the 5 books that I definitely need to get to this year. So like I said in the clip before the intro, these are the 5 books that I definitely need to get to this year for various reasons, but we will talk about the specific reasons when we actually get to them. So without further ado, let's go ahead and talk about the 5 books I need to get to. So the first book on this list is Legendary by Stephanie Garber. This book is one that I've had since it came out. I pre-ordered this and I absolutely loved Caraval, so I have no reason not to read this book. I just haven't gotten around to it yet. Also, I have pre-ordered the last book in this series as well. Final, I think it is, or Finale. I don't remember exactly how you pronounce that. The specific title of the last book. But I have no reason to read this, and before I can read Final, I have to read Legendary. So obviously I need to get to this one, and there's no real excuse other than I just haven't read it yet. So definitely need to get to this one. The second book on the list of books that I definitely need to read this year is Bloodlines by Rochelle Mead. This is the last book in the Bloodlines series, Silver Shadows, and I own the last book in this series, but I do not own any of the rest of them. So first of all, that's already a problem that I own the last book of the 5th book and not the 1st, 2nd, 3rd, or 4th, but I also haven't read the first book. So clearly, if I'm going to ever get to this book, I have to read the first one. And also, I have been rereading the Vampire Academy novels this year and have really enjoyed them again since I read them like in high school. And so I definitely need to continue on with the series into Bloodlines because I loved Sydney, and I'm pretty sure Sydney is heavily featured in this story. But I think one of the main reasons that I never picked up Bloodlines is because I believe I was told at one point that the character Adrian features very heavily in this book, and that was one thing about the Vampire Academy novels that always made me a little bit uncomfortable, was that there was a male character with my name, and that doesn't happen very often, that there is any character with my name, but when there is, he's always a man. And I've noticed oftentimes he's also an alcoholic. I don't know why that is, but I've noticed that. So that's always been something that was a little weird to me when reading the later Vampire Academy novels, and because I was told that he features very heavily in the series, I was a little hesitant to pick it up. But at this point, I just need to get over it and read it because I really am interested in the story. The next book on the list of books that I definitely need to get to this year is Children of Blood and Bone by Tomi Adeyemi. I got this book at Half Price Books, and I have not read it yet. I got it in July of last year, so I haven't had it that long. However, I have pre-ordered the sequel to this book, and I haven't even read this one yet. So before the next book comes out, I definitely need to get to this one so that I know if I want to continue on the series before I spend the money on the sequel. Because I don't know how I'm going to feel about this one, honestly. I know everybody really loved it, and so I'm hoping I love it as well, but I'm just never sure with honestly with fantasy just in general. It has nothing to do with what this book is about. It's just fantasy I tend to struggle with. So I'm never really sure with a fantasy. So we'll have to give this one a shot really quickly so that I can hopefully determine if this is a book I'm going to continue on with. The 4th book on the list of books that I definitely need to get to this year is Two Dark Reigns by Kendare Blake. This book is the 3rd book in the Three Dark Crowns series, and I definitely need to get to this one. I absolutely loved the first 2 books in this series, Three Dark Crowns and One Dark Throne, but for some reason I just haven't picked this book up yet. I honestly think it has to come down to the fact that these books are very gore heavy. They are very kind of gross, honestly. There's a poisoner queen, and they talk about poisoning themselves often, and it is very gruesome. So I tend to struggle with those kinds of things. However, I have loved the story and it's really interesting. It's definitely a very dark read. So keep that in mind if you decide to pick up this series. But this is a book I definitely need to get to because I want to know how this goes. How does the story continue? Is this actually the end? Because at first I thought this was a trilogy, but I've been told that it's actually going to be more than 3 books. So I guess we'll have to see. But this is definitely a book I need to get to this year. And the last book on the list of books that I definitely need to get to this year is Fallen Kingdom by Morgan Rhodes. This is a book that I've had the audiobook for a very long time. I just have never gotten around to it. Honestly, I think it comes down to A, it's fantasy, and B, it's just, I don't know. I think the fact that there are so many perspectives kind of makes me a little nervous because, again, I'm not really into fantasy very much anymore. Like, I do still enjoy a fantasy from time to time, but when there are so many characters to get to know, I sometimes struggle with them. So this has been kind of making me nervous, but everybody seems to love this book. There's a lot of hype around it. And so I feel like if I could get through the first book, I would probably really enjoy it. So with all that being said, this is definitely a book I need to get to this year. So there you go, guys. Those are the 5 books that I definitely need to get to this year. If you guys have read any of these books, I would love to know your thoughts. And if you have read them, what book do you think I should read first? Because they're definitely ones that I'm hoping to have on my TBR in the coming months. So please let me know your thoughts and which book you think I should start next. Thank you guys so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed it, and I will see you guys in my next video. Bye.